Hey folks, Kuba here from Cactus Sound along with my buddy Adam. We work as a location sound tandem, share equipment and experience, so it's the best way to talk about today's topic together. Today we want to walk you through the actual sound kit we use on most of our shoots, especially the ones where we are working in a one-man band setup.
A lot of our work happens on small commercial sets, corporate shoots, and indie productions. And very often it's literally just one of us handling boom, wireless, mixing, and timecode all at once. So the whole rig has to be simple, reliable, and fast, with as little friction as possible. This setup is basically the sweet spot between run-and-gun minimalism and professional audio workflows. Something you can grab, rig in under 2 minutes, and trust for an entire day without overthinking it. So let me show you the recorder, the wireless, the boom setup, the timecode ecosystem, and the hiding tools that allow me to work alone, stay mobile, and still capture clean production sound.
At the center of all of this is the sound device's MixPre 6.2. It's compact, lightweight, extremely portable, perfect for solo operators, but at the same time it gives you everything you need for professional work. 4 Kashmir preamps, up to 8 record tracks, 32-bit float, proper timecode support, pretty much the full sound device's experience in a tiny body. The audio quality and signal-to-noise ratio are exceptionally high for the cost of this recorder. Now it has only one SD card slot, but that hasn't been an issue for us at all. Because with Theos transmitters recording 32-bit float backup tracks internally, we effectively get a dual system safety net. Even if something catastrophic happened to the MixPre card, the lavs keep recording. And one thing I love, the USB-A port. After a shoot, instead of offloading to a laptop, I can just plug in a USB stick and dump audio straight from the recorder. Super simple, super fast, and again, perfect when you're working alone and need to wrap quickly. So yeah, for solo work, the MixPre is kind of brilliant. Small enough for run and gun, but still big boy enough for paid productions. If you want to know more about MixPre 6, you can watch my video about it where I explain why we choose it, what I like, and what could be better. The only limitation about this recorder is the amount of mic preamps. To be able to plug more microphones, we swapped to Zoom F8, which fits in the same bag. There's one big disadvantage though. The quality of the preamps in F8 isn't as good as those in MixPre, but it's still very reliable and versatile device. Both the MixPre 6.2 and our backup Zoom F8 fit perfectly in the K-Tech Stingray Mix Pro bag, keeping everything compact and protected for quick grabs on set. To carry it all day without strain, I use the Orca OR40 harness, which distributes weight evenly across the shoulders, even when loaded with receivers, cables, and extras, and features breathable padding for long shoots. For fast access to batteries, straps, concealers, or spare mics, we pack Orca OR180 pouches right in the bag, so nothing slows us down mid-setup.
For talent mics, we're using the DAT Theos system, DBTX and DXTX transmitters with the D2RX dual receiver, paired with the DAT WLAV Pro lavaliers. The big reason I went with Theos, everything lives in one ecosystem, and everything can be managed from a single app. When you're working solo, that's huge. I can scan a ref, change frequencies, check battery levels, trigger recordings, and sync timecode, all from one screen. No juggling menus across multiple devices. Another reason is that Theos is digital UHF, not 2.4 GHz. So we get proper wideband frequencies and much more flexibility on corporate and commercial shoots, where RF can be a mess. And the transmitters record 32-bit float internally, which ties directly into what Kuba mentioned earlier. The MixPre gives me clean main tracks, while the Theos packs automatically generate backup ISOs for every talent. Now, a quick note about the DXTX noise topic, because I know a lot of people online talk about it. Yes, the DXTX can be a little noisier than something like Sennheiser SKP 2000, that's true, but in our real-world experience with proper gain staging and knowing how to work your distances and levels, it's simply not an issue. We've recorded corporate pieces, narrative scenes, outdoor B-roll, dialogue, documentaries, and we've never had a take ruined because of the DXTX noise. Wireless always comes down to technique, environment, mic choice, and in our workflow, Theos performs extremely well. The lavs themselves, the WLAV Pro, are tiny, waterproof, have a nicely balanced top end, and a surprisingly smooth low end for a 4mm capsule.
Even though I often work alone, I still try to boom whenever possible because good boom audio beats any lav 99% of the time. Our current setup starts with the DAT BP500 carbon fiber pole. It's light, strong, and extends ridiculously long for the weight. Perfect for run and gun and for solo operators who don't want to die halfway through the day. To make solo booming even easier, we use the boom body boom swinger. You clamp it into a light stand, drop the pole in, and suddenly you've got a stable boom position. This holder allows me to rotate the mic between sound sources and still have one hand free to operate the mixer. One-person setups become stress-free interviews. At the end of the boom, I'm running the legendary Sennheiser MKH416. It's been a film industry classic for decades, and there's a reason. It's directional, resistant to humidity, and incredibly consistent in different environments. We recently tested the DPA 2017, which is a more modern short shotgun, and it performed extremely well. I even made a whole video about it because the tests were genuinely surprising. The plan is to expand the shotgun lineup this year, most likely adding a DPA, but we also want to test the DAT S-Mic 3 and S-Mic 3S to see how they compare in real production environments. For now, though, the MKH416 remains our go-to boom mic for small commercial sets. It's reliable, predictable, and has a sound that just sits really well in dialogue mixes. All mics are rigged with radius shock mount, which is another surprise to us because it's not expensive, quite for its design, and doing its job perfectly. We also love the modular aspect of it. Jumping from classic old Rode mount was a huge leap forward.
To keep the boom pole handy with both hands free for mixing, we use the Orca OR117 boom holder. It magnetically attaches to our harness or a light stand via fidlock, letting us drop and grab the pole instantly. It doubles as a secure plant mic mount by clipping to set fixtures, perfect for solo interviews or static shots. All mics rig into the Rycote Quick Lock shock mount, which snaps on super fast without the rotation hassle of Ambient's version. Huge time saver when rigging alone. For timecode, I'm using the DAT TC1 boxes and the TCSL1 Smart Slate, plus a Tentacle Sync E when needed. Again, because we work solo so often, one of the biggest advantages is that everything can be synced and controlled from the same app as the TS Wireless. That means transmitters, receivers, timecode boxes, and even the Smart Slate all live in one ecosystem. I can jam everything from the MixPre, push the settings out via Sidus Audio, adjust the frame rates, monitor sync status, and do it all without running around the set plugging cables into cameras. The TC1 has a very accurate OLED display, locking connector, and built-in scratch mic for mirrorless cameras. The TCSL1 adds a fully syncable Smart Slate into the mix, which is super handy for narrative projects, multi-camera corporate interviews, or if you shoot on tape.
Again, one of my previous videos was about timecode gear from DAT. Go check it out if you want to know more.
The Tentacle Sync E still gets used because clients love it, and the software is great, but for speed and efficiency on solo jobs, the DAT ecosystem has basically taken over.
Lastly, not so glamorous part that actually saves stakes, straps, and hiding tools. We use Ursa straps and Viviana straps to mount transmitters comfortably on talent. They are thin, breathable, and low profile, which is exactly what you need when you're working alone and don't have time to re-rig someone 3 times. Then to actually hide and stabilize lavs, we rely also on Viviana, Ursa, and Bumblebee. Their concealers, tape, full covers, and mounting kits make a massive difference in clothing noise. This combination gives us a quick, reliable hide that stays quiet even with wardrobe changes or movement. A very useful companion in our bag is a SmallRig's Magic Arm with smartphone holder, so we can always have the Wingman app at hand. It's very important to be able to quickly change the name of the next take or any additional features that are difficult or impossible to access on the recorder by itself. So that's the full kit we use on small commercial, corporate and indie productions, especially the ones where it's a one-person sound department. MixPre 6.2 as the brain, Theos Wireless with internal 32-bit backups, MKH416 on the BP500 boom with a boom body, TC1 and TC-SL1 synced through the app, Ursa, Viviana and Bumblebee for clean and comfortable lav rigs. It's a lightweight, minimalist run-and-gun setup, but still professional enough for real client work. If you want a deeper dive into any part of the kit or want me to compare it with alternatives, drop a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.